Are you in a toxic work environment? This is something we really want to address when trying to find the underlying causes of why you might be feeling stuck, unhappy, depressed, or just not all there. My name is Claire, and this channel is dedicated to helping you find success, happiness, and level up your life. Feel free to subscribe now for more videos. So, if you are in a toxic work environment, you could be prone to burnout, illness, undue stress, and depression. So I really want to address this topic today to make you aware of what you should be looking out for in your work environment. According to research from the Harvard Business Review, a lot of people will stick it out in a toxic work environment where they're unhappy, their needs are not being met, and they're just getting worse and worse over time, where they wouldn't stick it out in a toxic relationship. So we treat work and personal relationships differently in terms of what we allow. Why do we do this? Usually it comes down to how we've been conditioned to feel about work. We often put work first because we want to make money, we want to be successful, and we also believe that it's normal for work to be hard and grueling, and we feel like it's a sacrifice that we're supposed to have, and that's just part of what work and having a job is like. We kind of bundle the toxic situation with work, which is completely separate. You can have a healthy work environment and not have to deal with any of the difficult, grueling aspects of hating your job and feeling overly stressed out and not wanting to get up in the morning. So here are some of the main points that you want to look out for when seeking a healthy work environment. Number 1, you want to make sure that the people around you are friendly, upbeat, nice, and professional. So if your coworkers are being rude or demeaning each other or you, or spreading gossip or making you feel bad, that is a toxic environment right there. You have to keep in mind that just because this isn't a personal relationship that you have at home doesn't mean that it is not a relationship. These people that you're working with have the potential to be harmful to you, and mentally or psychologically or emotionally, they could be abusing you even though you are supposed to be in a professional setting. So you have to keep that in mind. You want healthy coworkers, and you should feel at peace. The next key thing to look out for is how your boss treats his or her employees. So you want to have a boss that you can go talk to. You can give them your thoughts, or if you have concerns or if you need advice, you should be able to go talk to them, and you should feel comfortable expressing yourself around them. They should also be giving you healthy feedback and healthy criticism. So if your boss is demeaning or power hungry and just wants to tell everyone what to do and makes you feel bad, or they don't recognize the effort that you're putting in, then that could also be considered toxic. I actually had a boss once at one of my previous jobs who said that my job was basically prison with a paycheck. So that is definitely not healthy. If you feel like you are in prison but you feel like you have to stay because you're getting paid, that is not okay. Your bosses as well should be looking out for their employees. So if there are issues between coworkers or gossip or negativity, the bosses should be aware of that and should be helping the victim out. You also want to make sure that you are in a safe environment physically. So you should have the adequate tools that you need to be safe, to prevent injury, to prevent illness, depending on where you're working. So if you need to be provided gloves, you should have gloves, or the material that you're working with should have protocols for safety. These are very basic points, but I thought I would add that in because, once again, if you don't have the proper safety in your environment And if you are being put into risky situations, then that is also toxic, and that is not acceptable for a work environment. Another thing that you want to look out for is how you feel after you work. So if you are burdened day after day with work that is being piled on you and you're extremely stressed and you get sick often, or if you're not allowed any time off and you're forced to overwork yourself, that is also very unhealthy, and that could cause you a number of different issues, including burnout and depression and illness. So you really want to make sure that you are balanced in how much you're actually doing and how much stress you have at work. You want to keep that as low as possible. So some stress is good if it is a productive stress where, let's say you have a deadline and you want to meet that, then it's perfectly acceptable to feel stressed. But if you have negative stress where it's not productive and it's just draining the life out of you, that is where it gets unhealthy. And of course, the last thing that you want to look out for in a job is how it makes you feel inside. So this is where it comes down to, are you happy at your job? Do you enjoy getting up and getting ready for work? Or do you dread your job? You dread every aspect of it. You don't want to see coworkers. You don't want to deal with what you're actually doing. And if it's something that just causes you to revolt inside and you just can't stand the idea of doing it, then you are definitely in the wrong job. So it could be that this just isn't a match for your personality, and that's totally fine. Everyone is fit for different types of work. So if you just really, really cannot stand the idea of your job and you just do it because you think that you're supposed to hate your job, that is definitely not how it's supposed to be. You should feel excited about your purpose at work, what you're doing, the mission that your company is serving, or the mission that you are providing to other people, and you should feel motivated to go to work. So those are my top tips. I know that having a consistent paycheck keeps us almost feeling stuck at a job sometimes, but it doesn't have to be like that. If any of these stick out to you as problems in your work environment, I would definitely suggest starting to think about a new job. So even if you can't do it now, it's definitely a good idea to at least have a goal in mind or a plan in mind, or start looking for other jobs. And depending on how toxic your job is currently, then that may be a quicker transition to a new job or a slower one. Because having a goal in mind and having a direction in mind and knowing that you want to move to a better situation, you know what you're looking for, that's going to help you a lot. And it's going to be one more thing that you can knock off your list of toxic situations that you've been dealing with to get yourself into a better place, either mentally or physically or emotionally, and find that life that you really want to live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.